Good morning, everyone. Today we will discuss a critical issue affecting Malaysian household and the economy of the rising price of chicken egg in 2025. Let's start with the context. In 2025, Malaysia faced a perfect storm: global crop failures, geopolitical trade disruption, and a weakened ringgit have skyrocketed the cost of imported animal feed. Locally, avian flu outbreak and labor shortage tightened the supply while demand for this protein staple remained high. This convergence has pushed egg price to unprecedented level, threatening food security and budgets nationwide. Now, let's explore what is the main reason behind of the price change and what the solution does the government took action.
My name is Muhammad Adam Darwish bin Ahmad Zafri. Content number 1, the reason of price changes. Point number 1, stabilize egg supply. According to the news by Borneo Post, given the stabilization in production costs and the adequate supply of eggs, the decision to allow egg prices to float and gradually reduce subsidies was widely anticipated. Researchers with TA Securities Holdings Berhad noted that chicken feed remains the largest cost component for poultry producers, accounting for approximately 70% of total production costs. Malaysia's egg market is remarkably stable in 2025 because to strong production capacity, reduced feed costs, and controlled prices. Because of these circumstances, the government has been able to cut subsidies and get ready to eliminate them completely without causing large price shocks. All things considered, the industry is well positioned to make the shift to market-driven pricing while striking a balance between the sustainability of producers and consumer interests. According to the Department of Statistics Malaysia, 76.2% of egg production costs stem from feed, with another 15.8% attributed to utilities, salaries, and wages. Additionally, a news from The Star said Tambunan grocer Karim Shah Abdullah, 52, said a stable supply was the key issue in rural areas, where price changes can be more pronounced. Stock availability is what drives price shifts here, he said.
Let's turn our attention to point 2, increasing production costs in the subsidy period. From 2022 to 2024, the vast amount of subsidy by the Malaysian government, roughly RM2.5 billion, were meant to decrease the agriculture and livestock sector from the stress of rapid increase in the production costs. This increasing costs were not simply a local issue, but rather global challenges. The ongoing and sustained disruption from COVID-19 limited supply chain and availability of labor. The Ukraine-Russia war also caused significant increase in imported commodities, soy and corn, which are the main driver of the animal fat. The goal of subsidy were to decrease the supply chain's impact on food supply and limit livestock production that was sustainable for consumer, while also addressing extremely high input prices affecting chicken, duck, meat and other animal-based nutrition. This support was critical to assist producers cope with rising input pricing while maintaining public affordability during significant uncertainty. As seen from reports provided by The Edge, Malaysia and Bernama, its a sense subsidy provide a significant temporary buffer to stabilize the industry and consumer during the significant uncertainty, which the market is trying to price.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Muhammad Akil Koyum bin Azhar Muzaffar. For point 3, I will be talking about the expected rise in egg prices in Malaysia for the year 2025. Egg prices are projected to increase modestly between 2 to 10 cents per egg. This isn't due because of sudden demand or supply changes, but more due to producers passing on higher production costs to consumers. One of the main reasons is the gradual removal of government subsidies, which has caused producers to adjust prices to better reflect actual costs, including feed, labour and operations. Even though there is a price increase, it is considered small and controlled. This shows that the market is stable and absorbing the changes without causing any major disruption. Let's look at grade A eggs, the most commonly purchased type. Their prices have remained fairly stable, around 12 ringgit 30 cents per tray of 30 eggs. Even with subsidy changes, the price has not spiked suddenly. This suggests the market is not facing volatility and supply remains consistent, especially from local egg producers who continue to meet domestic demand effectively. According to Jeffrey Ng, advisor to the Federation of Livestock Farmers, removing subsidies slowly and reducing them from 10 cents to 5 cents per egg is a positive move. He believes targeted assistance is better than continuous subsidies, which may not help the industry or consumers in the long run. This modest increase reflects a balanced and healthy market, where cost changes happen gradually without shocking consumers. Plus, the government and industry are working together to monitor prices and prevent unethical price hikes.
My name is Amir Hakim bin Asharuddin, and I will be presenting about Content 2 Government Solution. Point 1. Maintain the subsidy that has been given. The government has reduced the egg subsidy from 10 cents to 5 cents, but it's crucial to maintain the support. Eggs are a primary protein source and staple food for Malaysians. Removing the subsidy entirely will burden the people, affect small traders, and risk causing inflation in our economy. However, as announced on April 30, Malaysia will end price controls on eggs starting May 1. This is part of the government subsidies restructuring the plan. The subsidy will be phased out by August, following industry stabilization and reduced production costs. The Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security stated that prolonged subsidies are unsustainable for both the egg industry and national finance. Since 2022, the government has spent nearly RM2.5 billion on egg subsidy to offset rising costs linked to the pandemic and the Ukraine-Russia conflict. To ease the transition, the government will introduce a new grade of affordably priced eggs and increase enforcement against profiteering, collaborating with the Ministry of Domestic Trade. While fiscal responsibility is necessary, the impact on livelihoods must be carefully managed. Balancing this priorities will be key moving forward.
Next, I will talk about market mechanism and stakeholder engagement. One key solution is transitioning to market-driven pricing. Here how it works. First is floating price. The government plans to remove price control, allowing supply and demand to balance naturally. Industry groups support this, as the artificial price cap often distorts the market. Secondly, stakeholder collaboration. Farmer, retailer and ministries like agriculture and domestic trade are working together to manage input costs, for example feed, and prevent profiteering. Last is phased subsidy removal. Subsidy drop from 10 cents to 5 cents per egg, with full removal by August 2025. This gradual shift avoids sharp price hike while encouraging industry self-sufficiency.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Muhammad Arun Nazmi bin Hari Mulasan, 2024778817. My part is exchange local product efficiency and self-sufficiency. My point is the government can help stabilize egg price by supporting local farmer with better tools, technology and training. This reduces our dependence on import and ensure a steady supply for the future, while also strategizing food security and the local economy. At the behind, we have a example. Okay, that's all for me. Thank you.
Let's turn our attention to point 2, increasing production costs in the subsidy period. From 2022 to 2024, the vast amount of subsidy by the Malaysian government, roughly RM2.5 billion, were meant to decrease the agriculture and livestock sector from the stress of rapid increase in the production costs. This increasing costs were not simply a local issue, but rather global challenges. The ongoing and sustained disruption from COVID-19 limited supply chain and availability of labor. The Ukraine-Russia war also caused significant increase in imported commodities, soy and corn, which are the main driver of the animal fat. The goal of subsidy were to decrease the supply chain's impact on food supply and limit livestock production that was sustainable for consumer, while also addressing extremely high input prices affecting chicken, duck, meat and other animal-based nutrition. This support was critical to assist producers cope with rising input pricing while maintaining public affordability during significant uncertainty. As seen from reports provided by the Age, Malaysia and Bernama, its a sense subsidy provide a significant temporary buffer to stabilize the industry and consumer during the significant uncertainty, which the market is trying to price.